Hi, everyone. I'm Autistic Ange. This is a podcast for adults who recently found out they're autistic and are looking for other autistic people like them. I apologize for any noise in the background you might hear. I am in a different part of the house, and the heat that's coming out of the vent on the wall can be pretty loud back here. I thought I would do an episode about the holidays because it's the holidays, and I just realized that this is my first holiday season with my newfound awareness of being autistic, which is pretty cool. And it definitely explains why I get so excited about the holidays every year. Like, I've always thought, like, is it normal for a grown-ass woman to get this geeked out about decorating and all the stuff that comes with holidays? But it's because I'm autistic, and we tend to feel things like 100 times more than ordinary people, which is why I get so excited around this time of the year. Not to mention, this is when everybody goes inside their boxes for like 4 or 5 months because it's too cold. So yeah, that's probably why I'm out more in the winter than I am during the spring or summer, because I don't have to interact with anybody. But anyways, so the holidays for me as a kid were not very pleasant, and I just wanted to process through that a little bit, because I'm sure that there's people out there that can relate to this, and then I'll talk about like how I experience the holidays now. But as a kid, like, Thanksgiving was very, I didn't look forward to it. Like, I was always confused because at school, excuse me, I'm sorry. At school, like, people would be so excited about it. They would talk about, like, spending time with their family and being grateful for stuff and, like, togetherness. And that was always cool. But then, like, I would go home and, like, that's not how it felt. So my mom, when she got pregnant with me, she got out of the military, and my dad did 26 years. So I grew up in the military. And so every year my mom would tell my dad to invite, like, 15 people from the dorms, 15 single airmen from the dorms to come over the day before Thanksgiving so that they can have, like, food and good company. And because, like, at the time we were in Japan, so it's not like, airmen can just hop on a plane and go see their family for a few days and come back. Like, it doesn't work that way. So they'd be, like, in the dorms, and, like, I'm sure that can be lonely. I remember how I felt when I was a single airman in the dorms. But so we would invite so many people over every year for Thanksgiving. And what was weird to me was I thought that was a great idea to do for people, like a great thing, to make people feel like not alone during the holiday season. But my mom would bitch all the time. Like, she would bitch about having to go buy extra food. She would bitch about having to make all of that food. She would bitch about all the Tupperware that she would have to buy to send leftovers home with the airmen when they left. And she would bitch about having to have the house cleaned. And then when everybody was there, and she would, like, go into the kitchen to grab some stuff here and there, she would bitch about something that somebody did or said. And then they would leave, and then she would just bitch and say how glad she was that everybody was gone. So weird. And so, like, I unfortunately picked up a habit like that when I got, as I got older. I mean, I've since done away with that because of therapy and stuff, but, like, the example I got from her was, like, you do nice things for people even if you don't really want to do them. And I guess so I thought it was normal, like, to complain about shit like she did. But I mean, like, I remember initially when I first became aware of that behavior, like, when I first started, like, picking up on that stuff and noticing her doing it, I was just like, I remember as a kid, I had an awareness or like an understanding of some of like why my mom did certain things. So I remember knowing that like she cared about how people thought of her. So she presented herself in the best way possible. And this was never anything that like she said out loud or that like was talked about. I just remember picking up on that. Because like, that's how it made sense to me too, when she would offer to do something so nice as to invite like all these people over every year for Thanksgiving and then turn like right around and like bitch about it. It was just the strangest thing. And, you know, like then the next day would be actually Thanksgiving. And for whatever reason, she felt the need to like make a whole new like turkey. And even though we had that stuff the day before, because she wanted to do like a family Thanksgiving. And, you know, it was just my parents, my brother and me. That was it. But I didn't like that either, because like there was more bitching. And then we would sit around the table and have to say what we were grateful for. And I always hated that part because I felt like it was so fake. Like, why are we only doing this once a year on this holiday? And also, like, I didn't really feel that grateful for stuff as a kid because I was a kid. And also because my home environment was pretty shitty. So I just said something to be grateful for, even though I didn't feel that way, because that was what was expected of me. And it just felt cold in the house. I never liked that holiday. And Christmas wasn't really any better. I don't remember her inviting like tons of people over every Christmas for like a dinner or something like that. But I do remember here and there she would have like, I don't know if they were parties or just get-togethers or whatever the fuck like they were called. But the Christmas season also felt just like this fucking cloud was like looming over everything. Like when we would decorate the tree, it was not fun because it was like things had to be done in a certain way and in a certain order. And you would get yelled at if you didn't do it the way that you were supposed to do it. So like what would happen is my mom would pull out all of the boxes of decorations because there was so many that she wanted to put on the tree every fucking year. And I always thought like, this is too much. But she would take out an ornament, put the hook on it, and then hand the ornament to one of us. And we would put it on the tree. And it was like an assembly line. We just got back in line, got the next ornament, put it on the tree. And it wasn't fun because like that was weird. Like I remember thinking like, this doesn't seem like why do people does everybody decorate their tree like this? Like it felt very strange to me. And also like she had like these crystal ornaments that she wanted every single one of them put in front of a light on the tree so that the light shined through the crystal. And you know, like, yeah, it was pretty, but like, did every single crystal ornament have to go in front of a light? Like, that was weird to me. And so, like, if I didn't put it in front of a light, I would get yelled at. Like, put it over there. Like, oh my God, it sucked so bad. Not fun for me. And we didn't really decorate, like, the inside of the house for Christmas. Not that I remember. Opening presents on Christmas Day was not fun for me, which it should be fun for children, but it wasn't for me because it's like, again, everything had to be done in a certain way. Like, and then if I got something that I wasn't very excited about, and I didn't give like, I guess a good enough, reaction to the present, I would be like, you know, I would hear things like, well, say thank you. Like, aren't you grateful? Or, just something along those lines. It was just negative. And so that's how I learned to just kind of like act in ways that pleased other people, even though I didn't feel that on the inside. So like my wonderful mother taught me all of this bullshit. And I am just going to do the family episode next time and get that done with, because more of this will make sense. But holidays just sucked as a kid. Like everybody, the kids at school were so excited. Oh, I get 2 weeks off. I don't have to be here. We're going to go do this, and this. And I hated those 2 weeks off because I felt trapped at home. And home was not fun. So, when you're a kid, it just feels like every day is like a week long. Like just time goes by so slowly. Because like you're just in the moment, you don't really have a whole bunch of a past to worry about and be anxious about, and you don't really have tons of stuff to worry about for the future. So when you're always in the present and having to deal with your circumstances, it just makes time go by like super slow. But yeah, I dreaded the holidays every year. And then so when I got older and I moved out and I joined the military, and I made friends, and I learned that there are other ways to celebrate the holidays that aren't cold and negative and stuff like I experienced. So like I would be in the dorms and I would have a Charlie Brown tree, and just I would decorate it as shitty as possible because I could. Because there was nobody sitting there yelling at me, put this there, put that here. What are you doing? 2 colors are the same. They can't be close together like that. Like, I didn't have any of that. So I just threw tinsel on the tree, just threw a bunch of shit on there. And I was so proud of my Charlie Brown Christmas trees. Now they're a bit bigger of trees, but like, I still am not very, like, I don't care. I just put stuff on the tree. It looks pretty. I'm fine with that. And it's annoying because like every time I go to decorate the tree, I can't get those memories out of my head as like, like decorating it as a kid, but, it just, I don't know, it just sucked. But getting older, I was that single airman that people would invite over for like, Christmas or, or Thanksgiving dinners or something. And I would go because that's the polite thing to do. And it was weird because everybody seemed to be having a good time. They were in good moods. Nobody seemed like they were faking anything. And it was just like moments like those that I just remember if like just something not feeling right. Like just, I guess knowing, I don't know if it was like subconsciously or whatever the fuck, but like, I can't, like just kind of having that feeling like, wow, I did not experience this as a child. Like, is this how holidays are supposed to be spent and people have good times together? And it really is true. It's not just on the TV, and then the sadness will come because it'd be like, well, why didn't I get to experience things like this? And, like maybe this is a first world problem complaining about the holidays, but like, as a kid, it's just like, it's so confusing because you just don't have all the knowledge that you have when you're adult, and you can't look at things in like any other lens than the one that you have. And I just remember the holidays being very confusing, very, disappointing. And I just wished, every vacation that it would just hurry up so I could go back to school and get away from my family. Now I have my own traditions with my wife, for Thanksgiving. Like her family is kind of like, no, I don't want to say crazy, but like her family's got issues too. And they live like an hour and a half away. So like for Thanksgiving, what we usually do is we just stay home and we make our own turkey. And, my wife loves Harry Potter. I do not, but a tradition that she started was every year she would make me sit through a Harry Potter movie on Thanksgiving, which is fine. But we don't have to deal with like annoying family. Because even when like I got out of the military and I moved to the States for the first time and I would go over to my parents' house as a visitor for the holidays, I still did not enjoy myself because I'm sure in the back of my mind, it was just reminders of how things were as a kid. And also like stuff still felt very fake. It's like they felt like I don't know, like you have to invite people over or something just because it's the holidays, and you don't. Like, I never understand. I don't get why people bitch about oh God, I have to see these family members I haven't seen since like last year or whatever. And no, you don't have to see any of those people. Like, are you just getting together because you think you're supposed to? Like, that doesn't sound like fun to me. And like I stopped talking to my parents, like, I don't know, what is it, 8-9 years ago, something like that. And I don't miss any of that stuff. Like, I'm happy that I get to choose to embrace the holidays in a way that I want to. I can decorate the way that I want to. I can just be a normal person, quote unquote normal. And so that, I mean, maybe that's also why I get really excited, because I know that the holidays now are like some of the best memories I've ever made or had or whatever. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about holidays. Basically, they sucked as a kid. They're awesome as an adult. And I don't remember if I said this already, but like if you had bad holiday experiences and you are still having bad holiday experiences because of whatever memories or things you've been through, try to just like create the holiday experience that you want, or that like maybe you've always wanted, or you know what I mean? Like, don't let that shit affect you the rest of your life, because I couldn't let that happen. Like, once I realized that other people were celebrating differently than what I was accustomed to growing up, and I got exposed to all that stuff, it was like, oh, like things really can be better. But yeah, I don't even know if this like episode like made sense or had a point or what, but I feel like that about every episode. But I guess, the holidays, I fucking love them now. They're great. I enjoy spending time with my wife. I enjoy like the coziness and the warmth and being grateful and not having toxic motherfuckers in my life. Like, I'm very grateful for that every single day, not just like once a year. But yeah, maybe somebody out there can relate. I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving. Thank you for listening. This was just me recording to an app on my phone, hoping people find me and listen and relate, and hopefully have a similar experience to the one I had when I heard myself on somebody else's podcast. Goodbye.